intentionally when I was pregnant, hid. Not because I was embarrassed, not because I didn't want anyone. Yes, we did keep it very private, but because it was a moment very sacred.
See, the dates would have been over here in the continuation of this photo here. But you see that she writes, Erika, friend's fake.
Those people who got labeled conspiracy theorists for questioning Erika Kirk's pregnancies, they might have actually been right all along, because now a real ultrasound technician has reportedly come forward and said the sonogram video Erika posted looks seriously off. Like, it might not be real. Here's the thing, there are 0 photos of Erika visibly pregnant. Not one single picture. The only thing that exists is that short ultrasound clip she dropped on Instagram. Watch it closely. Looks normal at first, right? But that's exactly the problem. It's suspiciously short. And according to ex-user Project Constitution, an ultrasound tech with over 16 years of hands-on clinical experience reached out and flagged something that's hard to ignore. First, red flag, no gel. If you've ever had an ultrasound, you know the drill. They cover your stomach in conductive gel, you tuck your shirt up under your bra, it's a whole thing. But in Erika's video, no gel in sight. She's just casually holding her shirt up like it's nothing. But here's where it gets really suspicious, the name formatting. The clinic she claims she visited, Camelback Women's Health Center, always prints patient images as last name, comma, first name. Always.
We wanted to have 4. Yeah. And I was praying to God that I was pregnant when he got murdered.
But zoom into Erika's sonogram and it reads first name, then last name, the complete opposite of how that system works. And it uses her maiden name, which is strange considering she took Charlie's last name and made that whole traditional wife identity her entire brand. On top of that, she conveniently overlaps the 2 printed photos to hide the dates and fully crops the date out of the second image. Let's watch the breakdown Project Constitution shared, where the ultrasound tech walks through every single detail. Now, here's the story Erika is pushing. She wants everyone to believe there are 0 pregnancy photos because she went into hiding for privacy reasons. Let's watch her at that CBS town hall explaining how she intentionally stayed out of sight during her pregnancies. First of all, I was growing a human. What else would you be growing? Nobody actually talks about pregnancy like that. It sounds scripted, not natural. And privacy? Since when does Erika care about privacy? This is the same woman who had someone record her sobbing over her husband's casket and posted it straight to Instagram. She turned his funeral into a merchandise opportunity. They built a replica of the tent where Charlie lost his life, then charged people money to take selfies with it. Erika has not left the spotlight for a single second since Charlie's passing.
Kids are these. Erika Kirk provided this as proof of where she was September 9th.
But we're supposed to believe she disappeared for 9 months twice just for privacy? And here's the part that makes even less sense. If she wanted to keep everything private, why did she post that ultrasound video? Why show a positive pregnancy test to the world? You don't announce a pregnancy and then vanish for 9 months acting like it never happened. It just doesn't add up. But it gets stranger. An old interview recently resurfaced where Erika claimed she had 2 C-sections and wasn't sure about having another baby because she didn't want Charlie to see her organs again. Nobody talks like that. Any mother who has been through 2 C-sections would talk about the recovery, the exhaustion, the challenge of healing while caring for toddlers, because that's the real reason anyone hesitates. Not because of what their spouse might see in an operating room. Surgeons actually do everything possible to keep that experience as calm and covered as possible for everyone in the room. And now that Charlie is gone, she never brings up that C-section story anymore. Not once. She told Megyn Kelly that she and Charlie always wanted 4 children. So if 4 was always the plan, why did she say in another interview she wasn't sure about having more because of C-sections? The stories keep shifting, and at some point, you have to ask yourself how many times a story can change before it stops being a mistake and starts being a pattern. And now there's another layer to this entire situation. Remember when that whistleblower, Mitch Snow, came forward and claimed he saw a woman who looked exactly like Erika at a secret military meeting just 1 day before Charlie's passing? Let's hear what Mitch had to say. That kind of allegation doesn't just disappear. It sits there, quietly, waiting for someone to either prove it wrong or connect it to everything else that keeps surfacing. Erika never addressed that directly.
All pregnant women, they bring their, or even if you just want to do an ultrasound because you have a cyst or you're bloated, your shirt is all the way up to your bra. You know, there is gel all over the place. I cannot see anything like that anyway, but let's go. There you are. There you are, the ultrasound photo that she's holding, and purposefully, she overlaps picture over picture so it doesn't show the date. You see, the dates would have been over here in the continuation of this photo here. But you see that she writes Erika Friendsvee. And in the other photo as well, Erika Friendsvee. However, this clinic does not issue ultrasound images with first name and last name. First of all, she was already with Charlie. It would be Kirk Erika, not even Friendsvee Erika.
Instead, Turning Point spokesman Andrew Colvett reached out to a random content creator and dropped a photo supposedly taken on September 9th, meant to prove Erika was home with her children during that alleged meeting at Fort Huachuca. In the photo, the children's faces are covered by what appears to be Erika's hand, complete with those signature long nails. Convenient timing, convenient photo, convenient alibi handed to someone with a small platform instead of a major outlet. But here's where it completely unravels. Public records show Charlie's son was born in May 2024. That means in a September 9th photo, he would have been around 16 months old. The boy in that photo looks closer to 3 or 4 years old. And this isn't a small gap we're talking about. There is a massive visual difference between a 1-6-month-old and a 3-year-old. Toddlers at 16 months are still wobbly on their feet, still baby-faced, still clearly infants in many ways. The child in that photo does not match that description at any angle. And for reference, look at a photo taken just 4 months earlier at his first birthday. The difference between those two images is something that simply cannot be explained by a growth spurt. Children do not transform that dramatically in 4 months. It is physically not how development works. So either the photo is mislabeled, or the child in the September image is not who they are claiming him to be.
I intentionally, when I was pregnant, hid. Not because I was embarrassed. Not because I didn't want anyone. Yes, we did keep it very private, but because it was a moment very sacred. I was growing a human inside of me. My baby.
Both possibilities raise serious questions that deserve real answers. There's another detail that keeps getting brushed past. Erika mentions her daughter in interviews regularly. She brings her up by name, talks about her personality, references moments with her, but her son? Almost complete silence. We do not even know his name publicly. Think about that for a second. In a world where Erika has been extremely vocal about her life, her grief, her brand, her future, she has somehow managed to keep her son almost entirely invisible. For someone who built an entire public identity around being a devoted mother and traditional wife, that silence is loud. Now here is something else worth sitting with. Erika has described herself as deeply committed to the traditional family model. That was her lane. That was the image-devoted wife, loving mother, standing beside her husband as he built one of the most recognizable conservative platforms in the country. Charlie preached family values from every stage he stood on.
Aren't done, are you?
We might have one more.
Okay.
I'm kind of torn. The only reason why I'm torn is because I had C-sections for both. So I'm like, how many more times does Charlie need to see my organs? So, I mean, we'll see.
So the idea that a pregnancy, or 2 pregnancies, would be hidden from public view directly contradicts everything that Image was built on. A public figure who turns a funeral into a content moment does not suddenly develop a passion for privacy when it comes to something as monumental as bringing new life into the world. And speaking of that funeral, let's not gloss over it. Erika had someone film her grieving over Charlie's casket and posted it to Instagram. She launched merchandise. They constructed a physical replica of the tent where Charlie lost his life and charged people to take photos with it. That is not the behavior of someone who guards her private life carefully. That is the behavior of someone who understands exactly how to monetize a moment, no matter how painful it is supposed to be. So the privacy argument, as it relates to the pregnancies, falls apart completely when you stack it next to everything else she has chosen to make public. Now let's go back to the ultrasound situation, because it connects directly to all of this. An ultrasound technician with over 16 years of clinical experience reportedly came forward and pointed out specific technical problems with the sonogram video Erika posted.
You did get married.
Yes.
have 2 kids.
2 precious babies.
And you told me this in private, but how many kids did you guys want to have?
We wanted to have 4. Yeah. And I was praying to God that I was pregnant when he got murdered.
No visible gel on the stomach. Name formatting that does not match the clinic's documented system. Dates that are either hidden or cropped out entirely. These are not things a random viewer would even know to look for, but a medical professional recognized them immediately. And when you combine those technical red flags with the complete absence of any physical pregnancy photos, the picture starts to look very different from the one Erika has been painting. She claims she went into hiding during both pregnancies for privacy, but she shared an ultrasound clip. She showed a positive pregnancy test. She announced the pregnancies publicly. You cannot have it both ways. You cannot tell the world you are expecting and then act like the next 9 months are classified information. Normal people who want privacy do not make pregnancy announcements. They just stay quiet from the beginning. The selective sharing is what makes this so difficult to accept at face value. And then there is the C-section story. In that resurfaced interview, Erika said she was hesitant about having another baby because she did not want Charlie to see her organs again during surgery. Not because of recovery time, not because of the physical toll of a major abdominal procedure, not because raising 2 toddlers while healing from surgery sounds exhausting, which it absolutely does, but because of what Charlie might see. That reasoning does not reflect how people actually talk about medical experiences. Any woman who has been through a C-section, let alone 2, leads with the recovery, the pain, the weeks of not being able to lift anything heavier than the baby.
Percentage that you saw Brian Harpole, what percentage would you put it at?
95. Okay. 95 to 99. There's some other pictures that came up with other people.
What other people?
There's a picture of Erika Kirk with a ponytail and from her past. That person matches who I saw at Fort Huachuca in the lobby the night before. She was with that man in the lobby. And that man, he was present at that meeting the next morning.
To put it at a percentage that you saw that the girl in the ponytail matches the description of Erika Kirk, what percentage would you put that at?
Those are really rare eyes. That's 95 to 99%. I can't imagine somebody else.
The emotional weight of a surgical birth when you had other expectations. That is the conversation. Not the visual experience of a spouse who, by the way, can simply look away or step outside if needed. So when you line everything up, the shifting stories, the missing photos, the questionable ultrasound, the age discrepancy in the alibi photo, the silence around her son, the inconsistent privacy claims, the unusual language she uses when describing pregnancy and childbirth, it stops feeling like a series of unrelated coincidences. It starts feeling like a narrative that was constructed rather than lived. People online have been vocal about this for a while now. One viewer said it plainly, "I don't believe she was ever pregnant. For a man who preached marriage and family so publicly, hiding an entire pregnancy is extremely odd. Something is off here, and that sentiment is spreading." It is not just a fringe opinion in a comment section anymore. It is a growing wave of people who are looking at the same information and arriving at the same uncomfortable conclusion. But it goes even deeper than the pregnancies now. People are starting to question the entire foundation, the marriage itself. Was it what it appeared to be? Charlie Kirk built his entire public brand around traditional values, strong families, and leading by example. Erika was positioned as the partner who embodied all of that alongside him. But if the details around something as fundamental as having children together do not hold up under basic scrutiny, then what else might not be what it seems? This is not about tearing anyone down for sport. It is about the fact that public figures who built their platform on authenticity and family values have a higher standard to meet when it comes to basic transparency. When the receipts do not match the story, people notice. And in the age of social media, medical professionals, forensic analysts, and sharp-eyed viewers are all in the same comment section, and they are talking. The questions are no longer limited to a small corner of the internet. They are spreading across platforms, showing up in mainstream conversations, and gaining traction with people who are not conspiracy-minded by nature. These are everyday people who are simply looking at what is publicly available and saying something here does not add up. And until there are real, verifiable answers, not carefully timed photos handed to small creators, not vague statements about privacy, not stories that change depending on who is asking the conversation, is not going anywhere. If anything, it is getting louder. So if this video had you looking twice at things you might have scrolled past before, you are not alone. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We want to know what you think about all of this, because this community catches things that even we miss sometimes. If you found this breakdown valuable, hit that like button and share it with someone who needs to see it. Subscribe so you are always in the loop when we dig into the next story. We will see you in the next one.